Good evening, everyone. How are we all doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
One of you is alive, the other four are dead. I've got a lot of videos to get through tonight from the game that we played, obviously, on the weekend. But before we do, we're at the stage now where we start to think about finals because they're close. We've got a pretty good chance of getting through them, which means we start to need not just looking at our own game, but also looking at the game that our opponents play and seeing what sort of structures they use and what they do well and where we can take advantage of what they don't do so well. So that's just something to start watching for the next few weeks. And I know you see them when you play against them, but we're mostly focused on our own game, which is the right thing to do, but we can also have a bit of a squeeze at what they're doing. So if you were to kind of summarize, say, for example, the Southern Lights, how would you say what are the strengths of their game? What are they good at? They're not good at anything? Not hearing very much.
I watched them against the Griffins. They got shots on goal.
Yep. They won many games?
Not really. Not up until recently.
What happened?
They only won 2?
Yeah. Well, who did they beat their last game?
Griffins.
The Griffins. They played so good.
Hey, did anyone watch the game?
I did
Does
watch
chatting
the game.
and watching count?
Anything in particular leapt out at you about that game?
I don't know about you, Pam, but I thought they were really good. They just didn't really seem to leave the light players unattended. They were like always like manned up the whole game. I thought they're like really onto them when I was watching and not talking.
Do you remember what the score was?
2-1.
1, yeah. So it was a pretty not a high scoring game, was it? Do you want to know what the shots on the net were?
I think the Lights had more shots on the net.
The Lights had 10, the Griffins had 20.
Oh, did they?
Oh, they're goalie, actually. The Lights have a good goalie.
There we go, their goalie.
Right. Yeah, I do remember that.
They've got a pretty good goalie. Brookhouse made a .950 save percentage. 20 shots, 19 saves. It's pretty good, isn't it? Whereas the Griffins, Sam Titmus let 2 in and Sam's not a bad goalie. Certainly he's a good C2 level goalie at this stage. He let 2 in for 10. Whereas Brookhouse made 19 saves, which is pretty good. It's not a bad day at the office for him. Do you see any patterns in their game that is worth being aware of, either of the two teams? Okay, that's your homework. Because we're starting. Because we've the interesting thing that happened when the Lights beat the Griffins, which I don't think anyone expected to happen, is that's now significantly changed how the ladder looks. And that's now something of interest to us. I post at the end of every round a little spreadsheet, which amongst other things does some pretty basic maths. It just adds up how many points are left available on the ground. But if you have a look at what's happened with the ladder now, the Griffins and the Jokers are tied for first place on points. The only difference is a count back on goals for, goals against, where the Griffins have scored a lot of goals, but they've also given away more goals than the Jokers have. But they're plus 20, whereas the Jokers are plus 13. That's the difference between goals scored and goals scored against you. So they're really tight. Now, the interesting thing is the way the final series works. The way the finals works is the team that wins the grand final finishes on top of the ladder, is straight through to the grand final. The teams that are second and third play off for the right to play in the grand final, and the team that finishes fourth is out. So that win that the Lights pulled off on Saturday, whatever day it was, I think it was Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, it was Saturday.
Yeah, it was after our game.
Weekend was all just a horrible blur. Has now meant there's a small possibility that the Griffins might not finish on top of the ladder, which we didn't think was going to be the case halfway through the season. So, the Lights with that win have certainly done us a favour in a way, because what that could potentially mean is if, for example, the Jokers finish on top of the Griffins at the end of the season, then the Griffins play the Tigers for the second place in the grand final. The Tigers potentially win that one, and we have a Derby grand final. So it's possible. I'm not saying it's likely, but it's absolutely possible. In order for us to make that happen, we have to play every game at the best of our ability and continue to improve and play our team game. One thing that's starting to creep into our games a little bit is a bit too much reliance on a couple of individual players, and individual players trying to do a little bit too much. It's not our game style. Our game plan is to pass to players who are in good position and to play a strong positional game. We don't want to end up like the Lights did a couple of years ago, where they had one player who did everything, would go coast to coast. And the problem was the other teams, and we certainly learned about that, and all we did was play strong position against this guy. And when he was on, whenever he was on their team, they actually did worse, even though he was by far and away the best skater in the league. So it's just something to be mindful of. We want to make sure that we continue to play a team game and try not to do everything all ourselves. It doesn't mean don't take shots when they're not on. Absolutely, we want to, score goals and that sort of stuff, but make sure everyone's trusting their teammates and allowing them to learn. This is a development league. And if we make a grand final, that's great. If we don't, you know what? That's okay too. We want to make sure we concentrate on improving. So make sure you kind of keep that guy as essential to your team cultures. All right. So let's just make sure that we keep that in mind. So I'm going to go through some videos. I'm going to show one of the things that was really exciting about the derby was the last 3 minutes. I think the referees made the comment, and I don't think I've ever actually seen it happen either, is where both teams have pulled the goalie in the last 3 minutes of a game. Obviously, we took turns doing it, but it happened. So we're going to watch that first, just because it was kind of fun. Just bear with me here for a moment while I pull the video up. Should have it prepped up and ready. Last 3 minutes. Where are we? So not surprisingly, this video is going to go for 3 and a bit minutes. There's a couple of goals scored in it. And there's some significant changes in who's doing what, essentially. And it was pretty exciting. Anyway, here's the last 3 minutes of the derby. So I'm just going to pause that there briefly for a moment. Jack, obviously you scored that one. What do you think it was that gave you the opportunity to do it? Have you got sound or? I'm just going to read out what Jack's written on the chat. He's written high defence. So looking at that, we're just going to scroll back a little bit and have a look at the situation that happened. So this is the defensive setup. So what's going on there?
It's like a 3-on-2.
Yeah, partially. What have the Tigers not prioritized? Anyone? I can see what you've written, Jack, and you're right, but I'm just waiting to see if anyone else is picking up on it. We want to understand this game. Justine, can you see what's going on?
One's challenging high. They're both kind of pushing to the one side, leaving clear ice on the left-hand side for him to skate through.
The big issue is the high challenge. It's this one. Should be back here. Because if they're there, Jack has no alternative but to skate to you, because that's where he wants to score his goals from. It's where they are. All right. But if we're back there, and also if we've got a back check rather than a spectator coming back this way as well, then that helps too. What the Tigers at this point in the game have a 1-goal lead. What do they need to do?
Defense,
More specifically?
not let Joker score.
Well, it's the same thing, but yes. What's a good way to stop them from scoring?
Just pack that center play area. That's
Yeah.
like
You know what else you can do with 2.5, 3 minutes to go? Every time you get the puck, you just fire it all the way down the other end. Go and get it, guys.
We were talking about that on the bench, that we thought that you guys would just dump the puck down the other end.
Fight like a penalty kill. Fire it down the other end. There's no penalty. There's no issue with icing this year. So may as well take advantage of the rule. If you're in that situation and you're not sure what to do with it, just get rid of it all the way down the other end. That way the other team has to go and get it. If it's C grade, when they bring the puck back up, they make mistakes. They cost themselves time. They go offside. All those sorts of things happen. And that's what you do. Just dump it. And make sure you own this area. You've got to own that space. And that's a recurring theme through the game. And that's something that we want to do better and make sure that we've got a little bit of more of an understanding of what's happening. And I think Alex, she knew that had happened and she was pretty cranky with herself afterwards. She came in and said, "Oh, I know what I did." Yes, you did. And that's okay. It's a learning experience. It's not we're going to make mistakes. This is part of learning. And it's a pressure situation at the end of a game. That's when we make the worst decisions. So it's at no point am I trying to criticize what anyone's doing. It's more a case of use these as learning points so that we can try and improve what we do and give ourselves a better chance to improve. So that's what happens there. Jack scores quite a nice goal, manages to move Saad from one side of the net to the other, opening up space. It's a good way to get a goal. And away we go. Now it's all tied up. And it was a close game all the way through, wasn't it? There was, at no point there was a lead more than one. It seesawed backwards and forwards. It was a really exciting game. What just happened? Maybe not an NHL breakaway, but what allowed that to happen?
Can you replay it again?
Well, you just look at the picture.
Some more high challenging.
Yep. It gets you. It's such a hard thing to overcome. It's such a powerful instinct, and it's usually the wrong decision. Did many of you watch the Ducks versus the Adelaide Rush team games over the weekend?
Watch the one on Saturday.
Yeah, I watched both games pretty close up, as you can imagine, and it was the same thing. They were basically making the same mistakes. The D were getting caught high, and they were getting past them and getting breakaway after breakaway after breakaway. And the poor goalie, poor old Jade, she did not have a good day. Yeah, 2 bad days. But she made a lot of good saves, but she was put under a lot of pressure. It's that D moving up high. In this case, we've got forwards moving back. Jake's done a pretty good job on the face-off, just tipping the puck through and picking up on the burst. And that is a hard thing to defend against when someone can do that. It's a pretty hard move to fix. But the last thing you want to have happening there is a D to pinch up. D's got to be moving back early, as soon as you see it coming, and then just going to where the forwards want to be. Right, I think that's is that you there, Kat? I think with 23 on your back.
Yep, that's me.
I think you're doing the right thing. You're busting ass to get back here, which is again the right thing to do. Jack's got a bit of a head start on you. Let's see how it pans out. And so now it's 3-2 the other way around. Turned around in 30 seconds. It's a fickle game, Hoggy. So we pull the goalie instead. And we end up at the moment here, we've actually got 7 on the ice. We're a little bit confused. So we've got to fix that fairly quickly. It's just whoever was closest. And I do apologise to Holly. She was just the closest. It's like, we need one off the ice, and we need one off the ice now. Doesn't matter who it is. But watch what happens. Oh, take the shot. Ah, it was on. That's one good scoring opportunity. Nice clearance, good play. But still good pressure. So one really good scoring opportunity, which we didn't take. We tried to get cute and pass the puck. And here's the thing about the goalies we're playing against, certainly in C grade, they'll make the first save if you shoot high, almost always. They've got good glove hands. And Sard made a lot of really good glove saves in that game, a lot of really nice ones. You shoot high to a goalie's glove hand, They'll just catch it. Especially the goalies that we're going to be playing against. They've got good hands, but they've all got bouncy pads on their feet, which will cough rebounds. So you take your shots low, you go 5-hole. If you put the shot on the 5-hole, it does one of three things. It either goes in, happy times, gets a rebound, happy times, or they ice it. Or they freeze it, and we get a face-off and a chance to have another go. These are the three possibilities. If you don't put it on the net, put it on the net. Put the fuck on the net. Anyway, so we're going to have a look at the first 2 minutes of the game as well, which was quite interesting. And I'll show you some parts of this that are worth, in fact, we'll just kind of go through it. Never. Let's watch what happens. Look at that big juicy rebound, yeah? We've got a nice 1-2-2 forecheck. Anyway, it's a nice 1-2-2 forecheck. What's this another opportunity for? It's another 1-2-2 forecheck. Let's see how we go. Okay, so it's not bad. What can we do better on that forecheck?
The 29 positioning.
Yeah, that's not helpful. It should be more mid ice. Ideally, I think that's well, I just had the worst brain fade. I think that's Matty Zammit. Matty should be here. And is that Ben? I'm not sure. It's pretty much in the right place, kind of around about there. The initial forecheck's coming the right way. It's taken away. That's Holly, I think. It's taken away the boards, which is good. Now, a good defensive player will read that and do the right thing, which is not pad across the middle. But even good defensive players make mistakes under pressure. Now what have we got at the other end? Another 1-2-2. Let's see how this one gets set up. Wasn't really much of a forecheck there at all, was it? There was one, but no follow-up. So we want to get better at that. When we play against the Griffins, we want to have that 1-2-2 forecheck really nailed. Keep them pinned in their own zone. Now everyone's just standing at it instead of forechecking. Come on, get in there. Put some pressure on Tatum. Give him all day. So that's the first couple of minutes. And you can see there's lots of opportunities to get those forechecks happening. And they weren't bad, but we can make them better. Some good examples of good positioning, and this was Jess did a really nice job here. I don't know if Jess is here at the moment. No, she's not here at the moment, but she might watch this later. Have a look at what she does. Ring number 13. How's that? If you wanted to score a goal, is Jess in absolutely the perfect place to do it?
She sure is.
Yep. How'd she get away with it? And not only that, how'd she get away with it for so much time? Look, she's out there tapping, give me the puck, give me the puck, give me the puck, give me the puck. No one's doing anything about it. Eventually she gets the pass and fluffs it, but she's in the right spot for so long. Have a look at where all the Tigers are. Let's go back a few frames. See if we can't work out actually what's happened here. Have a look at where all of the Tigers are.
Really deep.
Yeah. Okay. No one's gone out to the guy with the puck on the corner. And no one's gone up to take Jess out of the game. All three of us are blocking side sight lines. Now there's one who needs to be there because there's a red body there as well. Needs to be in that one player's face. But if you're, I'm not, is that Alec or Blake? I'm not sure. Really should be seeing that and saying, oh, and look, there's a player up here with no one on him. I should probably do something about that. But that's not what happens. Instead, we all kind of crowd around that spot in front of the net. And in the end, the pass comes out to absolutely perfectly positioned Jess. Could not be in a better place. And all she needs to do is fire it low and hard. And she hasn't got the puck skills yet, but perfect positioning, really nice. What's happening with the other two Tigers wingers here?
One needs to be on the other side of the ice.
Yeah, one of them needs to be playing their position. All right, so 35 over here, totally unmarked. You really should have a winger there. And one covering that up. That's your job. We had a lot of issues with wingers getting lost in both teams. So we're going to work on that as a bit of a priority in our next game. Just trying to make sure our wingers play their sides and don't get lost, because that happened a lot. Both teams, both the Tigers and the Jokers, had wingers skating around like their remote controls are broken. So we're going to work on that a little bit for next week. I don't know why this thing keeps covering up. So Jack, I know you're getting the chat, but it keeps disappearing on me. All right, so let's have a look at the goals. Actually, something else that was really good. Are you guys getting sound from the videos?
I'm not. I don't know if anyone else
No,
is.
I don't think there's sound.
I'm going to turn the sound up to full bore and see if it works, and there's a reason for it. You hear that?
No, there's no sound. Do you have to share it with sound?
Yeah, I can't, because unfortunately the way, just because these are MKV files and not MP4 files, Zoom doesn't get them with sound. So I'm playing them through VLC, but VLC is not doing it. I thought the microphone might be close enough. Anyway, so what we've got in the play, just so you kind of know why I picked this one out, is if you have a look, there's a Joker, and I'm not sure who it is, who's being pressed hard by a Tiger in defense.
Think it's Ben.
It might be, yeah, absolutely. So under a lot of pressure, yeah? Lots and lots and lots of pressure. Now, what you can't hear, because the sound isn't doing the right thing, is someone at this point yells out over, really loud, to the point where we can hear it on the video stream, which is great, because that means that defensive Joker knows what to do with the puck. Think, I just have to fight around that way. I've been told what to do. So they don't have to think about it. They've got under enough pressure just trying to get the puck. Right. But it's really good call. It's a big loud call of over. And out goes the puck. And a successful breakout. Because of that communication. It's so important. And that was a really good example of it. And if you get on Facebook and have a look at those videos and then actually listen to them with the sound on, you'll find that one in there. It's called Over Good Call. If their name's sharp, I'm not sure if they do. But it's only a little short one. The whole video only goes for 13 seconds, but it's a really good example of helping each other out with communication. And that was really good. It was an excellent piece of work. What else have we got? Let's have a look at this play. Yeah, you're getting caught high again, yeah? It happened quite a few times throughout this game. If we do that against the Griffins, we're going to get hammered because they've got two guys who are particularly good at scoring on breakaways, haven't they?
97.
Yeah. And
I know 97.
and 70. So we have to prioritise when we play against them. We absolutely must prioritise getting back quickly. We cannot afford to go for those pinches because on the 70% or 80% of the times they beat us, they're going to score goals. That's what they do. That's their game. If you were to look at analyze their game for the Griffins, they've got two players who score almost all of their goals on breakaways. So we have to play a solid defensive positioning game, get those instincts working right, get our forwards back checking as well. So we take the pressure on them and put the pressure on them in the neutral zone, and really make sure we own that space. All right. We've got a whole heap of defensive zone face-offs. I had like 5 of them. I'm not going to show you all of them because we'll be going at it all night, but you can have a look at it on Facebook. Let's show you a couple and let's see if we can't pick out what's going on. How's that look?
Looks okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Wingers are in the right spot, ready to go. D's up high. The Jokers have stacked the the Jokers have stacked the onside, which is unusual but certainly doable. So they've got 2 forwards there. If you were the Tigers D, I think that's Blake there, and you saw the 2 wingers move across, what would you consider doing?
Get a bit closer to the net.
Yeah, you might want to just shuffle around a couple of meters closer, or you might choose to stay where you are and assume that your center's going to win the face-off and put it back to you. Because by them being there, they've actually opened up a lane to get out, haven't they? It's not a bad decision, but it has a consequence. Every move that you make has a consequence. And the consequence of those 2 wingers sitting where they are does mean that you can do a breakout up the boards. And you've got a lot more room up through there. And if the puck does bobble out the back of the face-off here, those D aren't going to get much help. So let's see what happens. Did the wingers move straight away on the drop of the puck? One did, but the other one didn't. We want those 2 wingers both moving forward straight away. And I know there's the confusion there of the extra player in the slot. I'd actually be fine with that player being ignored and the wingers getting up high quickly. I think that's generally a better play. But yeah, there's no right answer. It's whatever works. But our basic breakout, our basic defensive zone face-off is both wingers moving on the drop of the puck. Now, Kat, if that was you, I'm not sure who that is. Who was the winger? Was that you, Kat?
I don't know.
That's a good memory, huh? If it was you, then you've got a pretty good excuse because you haven't played wing before. But our other wingers should by now know that on that face-off, drop of the puck, you go. You don't hesitate. All right, so there's a whole heap of them. I'm not going to go through all of them because again, we'll be here all night looking at defensive zone face-offs. But the point is always the same. Let's have a look at. I want to show you a really nice play that Tatum did. Unusual for Tate not to be here, but maybe it's a school thing. I don't know. What's Tatum prioritized?
Front of the goal, like down the middle.
Pulling us straight down the middle. That right down. It's called the Royal Road. That pathway right down the middle of the rink, making sure that whatever was there is going to fix it up. And sure enough, there it is. Goes and eventually fixes it up. But from quite a promising breakout. The initial play here is not a bad looking breakout for the Tigers. But there's a heap of jokers back, and Tatum has made that first move and seen the threat coming and gone back down the middle quickly and prioritised that. And that's really clever defence. It's what we need to see. It's good work. Let's have a look at the goals. Why not? Did the Tigers do anything wrong there? Because I don't think they did. I think they did a pretty good job of holding that space. Jack had a shot away under pressure, and then there was a rebound. Those low shots create rebounds, and it was just a rebound opportunity that he got to first because he had a bit of speed. But I don't think the Tigers did anything wrong there in terms of defensive structure. Everyone was pretty much in the right spot. Right, that's pretty good. Everyone's mostly covered. I don't think that was I don't think there was any significant errors made there by anyone. Just a rebound that does the thing, you know. And if you do shoot and then chase in after your rebounds, that's what goals are against any defense at any level of hockey. You get a lucky bounce, goes your way, and you can just tuck it in the net. That second part of it wasn't anything fancy. Jack was just there with his stick on the ice and just went tap, and then it went. It's a classic workman's goal. Let's have a look at the Tigers goals, because we've now seen all of the Jokers goals. Let's have a look at the Tigers ones and see what happens. It's a good pickup by Blake. Tatum puts pressure on him. Blake possibly could have got around Tatum there because he was making that high challenge, but does the right thing, puts a shot away, which forces, if nothing else, a rebound. And it also, in C grade, gets the goalie down on the ground. They're not very good at getting up again. In higher grades of hockey, goalies are usually pretty quick at getting up. In the lower grades of hockey, once they're down on their pads, they typically stay there. I reckon Hamish would probably want that one back. But he was handcuffed to the ground. There wasn't much he could do about it. They're just bad at getting back up again once they're down. And that first shot created that opportunity. Got a nice rebound, went off into the corner, but we capitalised on it. There was a change going on, so there's no Tigers in there to help. It's a bit of a one-man effort. But the one-man effort was only successful because Hamish was already kind of stuck on the ground and couldn't get up. If you watch some of the, I guess for lack of an expression, the highlights of the game that the girls played against the Adelaide Rush, there was a number of occasions when Jade was stuck on the ground and couldn't move, and was a bit slow shuffling from one side of the goal to the other. And that's a bit of an advanced goalie skill, but once they're on the ground, they tend to stay there. We've had some goalies who the only way they get back up was by basically climbing up the goals. I'm not kidding. Actually turn around, grab hold of the top of the goal and pull themselves back up again. It's like, yeah, you want to work on that. But it happens. So once the goalie's down and committed, that's when opportunities open up. So it was a good little play there by the Tigers. Look at the last one. So they did get another goal. Wasn't much of a shot, really, was it? But it went in. And that's the thing. You put the puck on the net, sometimes they go in. It was a shot from a distance, reasonably well covered. Blake actually put it on the net this time, which was nice. All right, so Tatum's doing the right thing, understands the threat's trying to get across into space. It's a 2-on-1. So why is there the 2-on-1? What's happened there? Let's wind it back a bit and see if we can't see how that developed. Where is everyone? We've got 2 red D in the middle of the neutral zone, 3 red forwards already moving backwards. That should work out okay, shouldn't it? Let's see what happens. Who's got the puck?
The Tigers have got the puck, and looks like somebody went for a change, and maybe a D pinching.
Yeah, look at the D change. I know at the start of the season we teach very much get a change whenever you can.
That wasn't D changing. I think was that.
It might be forward. Yeah, it's a bit hard to tell.
Because I can see Ben still in the middle and Tate on there, but
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, it just looked like he missed the challenge.
Yeah.
35. Yeah.
I
That's
challenge. What happens?
He knows because that's why he slammed the stick on the ice.
Oh, I know what I did.
Yeah.
But you can see, like time after time after time after again, it's the high challenge that results in that breakaway. It happens in watch the pro league games. There's a couple of players in the Dogs who are like quite famous for it. There's a guy called Ryan Bennett. He plays for the Dogs sometimes, and when he's on the ice, the Dogs get scored against because he always goes for high hits because he likes to. It's a full contact grade, and he likes to knock people over. And I love it. It's great to watch it when he does actually make it work, but he misses more than he hits, and they get behind him. It's like, hey, prioritize defense, please. Anyway, we're on top of that. I suppose it doesn't matter. I reckon the Inferno are going to win this year. The way they're playing, they've improved heaps. Anyway, we'll probably wind it up at that because you've already got all of those other videos and you can have a pretty good look at them. There's some individual skills I'd like us to really start trying to improve. And there's one here. I'm just going to show there's a few people who are doing it. And we want to see if we can sort it out. Something we talk about at the start of every single game, which is don't pitchfork, keep your stick on the ice when you're skating. So let's just have a look at 17. Do that pitchforking? It doesn't help. It slows you down and buggers up your balance. You're much better off with your stick down on the ice. We're getting a lot better at it. Most of us have improved that quite a lot, but it is something every now and then it just kind of creeps into your game. And everyone does it sometimes, and you just want to be really mindful of trying to stamp it out of your game. So this is good. Right, that's a really good piece of skating. This is good. This is good. That's okay. That's good. That's good. Yeah, good, good, good. Okay, so most of us are pretty much getting it right. It's just that it can be a bit of a habit that's hard to break, especially when some coaches teach players, 2 hands on the stick all the time, and it's like, no, no, please not. I mean, apart from the fact that it has the potential to be dangerous, it's also slow. There are times when you certainly want 2 hands on the stick, but not all the time. So just be mindful of that with your skating. We've got, is it 1 game or 2 games this weekend? Has one of you got the bye? I can't remember.
Jokers has a bye.
Jokers have the bye and Tigers have the game. So we are playing on, I'm just scrolling down at the moment. What have we got? So the Tigers are playing the Griffins. That's the only C2 game on the weekend. Guess that makes sense. I think it's because the juniors are playing or something or other. I'm not quite sure how that works out. So for the Tigers, the way we play the Griffins, the way we beat them is we make sure we prioritise the back check, make sure our centres are getting back quickly, and we pepper the net, we drive in and get rebounds, because Sam will make the first save, but he gives a lot of rebounds. So we've got to make sure that we go in and get them. I think that's about it. Anyone got anything they want to add? Oh, we came up with a name for a double hat trick because one of the South Australian import girls got 5 goals on Sunday, which Gossie and I were wondering what we should call it because it's not a hat trick anymore; it's a double hat trick. So we're going to call it the Launceston. Any ideas as to why we might call it the Lonnie? Anyone here Tasmanian?
Because you've got 2 heads.
2 heads from over the waves. You know the one. Double neck t-shirts, all that sort of stuff. So you 2 heads, you need 2 hats. So it's a Launceston hat trick. I'm not sure we can get away with it actually on the broadcast because that's what we were thinking of saying. We thought we probably shouldn't. But yeah, so we will. I will see you on Saturday. It is, isn't it? Sorry, I'm not trying to be vague. Yep, Saturday at 6:10 p.m. The Lights take on the. Sorry, no, Saturday at 8:25 p.m. The Tigers take on the Griffins, and then before that, sorry, and then yeah. So, any of you jokers who want to come along and cheer on the Tigers and just study the Griffins more, it's good to see what they do. Try and learn their game style. Try and pick how they play, and we'll start to think about that a little bit more. There's only 4 games I think left till the end of the season. We do have a training session on March the 2nd. Which will be focusing on that's 1 game out from the finals. So we'll be focusing on really just polishing our game plan, and we'll also practice some penalty shots because sometimes games end in penalty shots. And we might also practice a little bit of 3-on-3 as well because the finals go to 3-on-3, and then if it's all tied up at the end of 3-on-3, they go to penalty shots. And if you've never practiced them before, it can be pretty confronting. So we'll just kind of throw that in at the end. It'll be a bit of fun, but we'll see how we go. So I'll see some of you on Saturday and the rest of you on the following Saturday. Thank you for attending. This is all recorded, so we'll stick it up on Facebook fairly shortly so everyone can have a look. And we've got to get Jack 2 hats. He wants an Ushanka somehow. Who wants to buy Jack and Ushanka? All right. See you guys on the weekend.
Thanks, Cole.
All right.
Bye.